Do you?
I agree with you, and the police and military better decide whose side they're on.
Only on the one and only.
Weekend Sit and Spin. It's on KineticHiFi.com. We're internet radio. We're alternative media. Just trying to get the truth out
Good
there.
job. Good job.
And good Sunday morning to you. Welcome in. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, Part 1, The Drew Howard Show, right here on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio, all over the place. You got internet, you got us. Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning here, August 24th, 2014. Man, this year's flying by. It feels like it was just the beginning of August, and I was getting hyped up to see Guardians of the Galaxy. Such a great movie. Love that movie. Great soundtrack. All around, just really good movie. And, that came out August 1st, and here we are already at the end of the month. So, really flying by. Had a really great Charleston Improbable show last night out at Flowertown Theater in Somerville. Love being out there. That's kind of our home theater. We perform there a lot. They're great people. Take good care of us out there. And just an awesome time doing some improv comedy with really the funniest people that I know. I'm so privileged and so lucky to be part of the Charleston Improbables. It's really just a tremendous group of comedians who are extremely funny, and I just try to keep up. But great show. Thanks to everybody that came out in the Somerville area last night, supported improv comedy. Also, they had a great show at Pug's Tavern last night. My good friend Lee Pollard was up there. I spoke to him, and a great set out of him, and Tennessee Tramp had a great time at Pug's Tavern, too, last night. So comedy is alive and well in the Somerville area, and a big thanks to that goes to Tony Kemp. He's the man that's been making comedy happen for the last 30 years here in Charleston, brings in the best touring comedians week in and week out there to Pug's Tavern. So really big thank you here from Sit and Spin Radio to Tony Kemp and to the entire Charleston comedy scene. It's a great scene. It's a great community, very friendly, and I love you guys, all y'all performers out there. I love y'all. You're like brothers to me and sisters, and it's just an amazing community. But we do have some news to get down to this morning. Starting out of Northern California, according to the United States Geological Service, a 6.0 earthquake shook Northern California early Sunday. The quake was struck just about 3:30 a.m., so that would be a couple of hours ago now. Wow. It's about 2.5 hours ago when you convert it. So quake struck just before 3:30 a.m. about 10 miles northwest of America Canyon, which is about 6 miles southwest of Napa in California wine country. It's the largest earthquake to shake the Bay Area since the 6.9 magnitude Loma Prieta quake in 1989. It says it was a rolling quake. Oakland resident Rich Lieberman said it started much like a rolling sensation, then just got progressively worse in terms of length. Not so much in terms of shaking, but it did shake. Kind of felt like side to side of a rolling sensation. Nothing violent, but extremely lengthy and extremely active. And we're seeing more geological activity strike up. It's like Nick and I talked about being signs of the apocalypse coming out. We're seeing a volcano in Iceland gearing up. And really, you can go back and you can look. A simple Google search will show you that over the last 2 years, there's not been a day that goes by where we don't have some sort of crazy meteorological event, some sort of earthquake, tsunami, bad storms, mass animal die-off, you name it. It's really a lot of things going on at once, all over the place. So 6.1 magnitude earthquake near Napa. It was felt wide, strongest in 25 years. A lot of headlines up on Drudge about it at the very top of the page. So definitely check that out. And our thoughts and prayers do want to go out to everybody that's in the affected region. Of course, the beautiful wine country there, the people in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, Silicon Valley, all of those areas. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as you deal with this earthquake. It doesn't look like there's a lot of property damage. Doesn't look like there's a lot of loss of life being reported yet, so that's always good. They said it wasn't that violent of an earthquake in the articles we've read so far. And see now, people, here's one coming out of the San Francisco CBS News. Strong 6.0 earthquake rocks the San Francisco Bay Area. Significant damage in Napa. So it does look like there is some damage up there. Magnitude 6.0 earthquake rocked the San Francisco Bay Area early Sunday morning, centered in the Napa County town of American Canyon, causing widespread power outages in Napa and Sonoma, causing moderate damage across the region, significantly damaging historic buildings in downtown Napa, and forcing the California Highway Patrol to close ramps on a major highway. At least 36 aftershocks were recorded following the earthquake. the largest in 25 years to hit the Bay Area. Initial reports had the earthquake measuring a 6.1 magnitude. Napa City Councilman Peter Mott reports the library and historic Chinese laundry building suffered significant damage, and bricks and glass are scattered across downtown sidewalks on 2nd and 3rd Street. At least 2 homes in Napa were on fire. Water mains in residential areas are broken, but it's not clear how bad the damage from flooding is. Several injuries are reported because of broken glass, so we do need to keep a lot of people in our thoughts and prayers. There's some Twitter pictures that have been put out here. Collapsed wall. Definitely a collapsed wall. It looks like it fell on cars. It's a rough thing. Here, looks like the side of a building fell off in this one picture. So there's some Twitter pictures out there you can see. Here it disheveled somebody's kitchen in their apartment. What a whopper. So definitely our thoughts and prayers. And I've got some friends that are living out there that recently moved to pursue comedy, so definitely want to try to get up with them today. And just keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers this morning as we go about the day and get up and going. And remember this earthquake. Yeah, definitely. I'm a little discombobulated this morning, running late thanks to a debit card machine issue at the convenience store when I was trying to pick up some pre-show water and banana and stuff. There was a debit card down, and you would have thought it was the end of the world. People just didn't know how to act. They couldn't pay cash. It tied up the lines. Spent a long time in a convenience store this morning because of that. So let's get to a quick break here. Try to get it refocused, amped up. And we'll come back. Got a lot of news to get into today. Big day out there. Still a lot going on with ISIS. What's going to happen with that? We'll get into that. We'll get into Obama on the golf course. Big show coming up. So stick around. Tell your friends. Tell your family to tune in. You don't want to miss this. And we'll go ahead and we'll get to a break and be right back. On the other side, this is the Drew Howard Show, part of the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin right here on Sit and Spin Radio, KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. Thank you for joining us, and we will be right back.
I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child is grown, the dream is gone.
Thank you for listening to KineticHiFi.com Community Radio.
Hi, this is Bob Charles, the host of The Bob Charles Show. I very rarely endorse anything, but this service deserves my attention. Atlantic Repair LLC is the only credit restoration company that is actually headquartered here in Charleston, South Carolina. Unlike other companies that overcharge you because a middleman gets paid and then your credit report goes to Poland packed in sauerkraut. This company is here to help all of us and our credit problems like low scores, collections, judgments, inquiries, and a bunch of more bad stuff. Call Atlantic Repair LLC at 888-957-1118. They are the one company in South Carolina that charges 50% less than any other service on the planet, and no monthly fees either. They work till they are done. They get my vote. Now it's your turn. Call 888-957-1118 or go to www.atlanticrepairllc.com and follow the directions on page 1. They care for you.
It's a fact. Nearly 80% of us will have back pain at some point in our lives. And for some of us, it can be debilitating. If you live in the Charleston, South Carolina area and have any kind of back issue, Peninsula Chiropractic is your answer. Peninsula Chiropractic has a reputation built on great customer service and the results most chiropractors can't deliver. One patient and local firefighter says, "I have been a patient with Peninsula Chiropractic for nearly 10 years. Dr. Ty and Dr. Rob have treated me with the utmost skill, respect, and kindness as a person and a patient. I feel extremely confident with their skills professionals and have recommended Peninsula Chiropractic to numerous people, not to mention the relaxed atmosphere and genuine caring staff that is Peninsula Chiropractic. Don't spend another day in pain. Call Peninsula Chiropractic today at 843-723-6475. That's 723-6475, or visit the office, conveniently located within the Sergeant Jasper Building downtown at 310 Broad Street, number 2, Charleston, South Carolina.
Thanks for tuning in to KineticHiFi.com. Stay tuned in. Thanks.
To call out, would you touch me? Hey you, would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home.
And welcome back. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, Part 1, The Drew Howard Show, right here on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. Thank you for joining us. You can always listen to our archives at Spreaker.com/Sit and Spin Radio. And check us out on Facebook, Facebook.com/Sit and Spin Radio. And we have a cat in the studio now. Hi, how are you? You come in here. I didn't know that. Little kitten. Boyd must have brought you up here. Yeah, we have a new studio cat. We used to have that when we were back at the Wapu Road studio. It's interesting. There. Hey, little fella. It's a cute little kitty in here. So, got that going on. New KineticHiFi.com studio pets. Maybe we'll have a contest to name the pet. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Boyd, but that's definitely interesting. This is also an interesting story. Pat Buchanan coming out of Breitbart.com today saying Obama will set the country completely on fire with executive amnesty by Labor Day. And by the way, Labor Day weekend is next weekend. So, hey, you're a very noisy cat. Meowing quite a bit. On the Friday broadcast of the McLaughlin Group, columnist Pat Buchanan predicted that President Obama would grant amnesty to illegal immigrants via executive order by Labor Day, and that such an action would set this country completely on fire. And I have a clip of him here on the panel we're going to go ahead and play so you can listen to his words exactly.
Generally older, more politically engaged, more likely to have an axe to grind against the incumbent party in power. The results are very different for registered voter polls.
Well,
are you calculating that into this?
That's part of the reason why people think Republicans could take over the Senate, because they are not the incumbents in the Senate. Older voters tend to vote Republican, and say you get impassioned conservative voters turning out, that could help them. However, Democrats could gain from Hispanic voters turning out, especially if the president decides to take key executive actions in this summer that would help Hispanics who are here in the country, perhaps living here legally. That could boost popularity for the party.
Executive amnesty will set the country completely on fire. I do agree it might get out the Hispanic vote, but you will have red state Democrats denouncing the president for doing it, for engaging in unconstitutional action.
I think they're willing to lose those Democrats.
It would be a tremendous firestorm, which would really polarize
Executive amnesty is your word and the word that people on the right are putting out, but that's not what the president is going to do. He's going to act within his own constitutional boundaries. Let's see what he does. It's more...
Is there... Predictions, Pat.
Barack Obama will do some kind of amnesty for the aliens by Labor Day.
So there you hear his prediction is Barack Obama will do amnesty by Labor Day, and that is coming up next Monday, so very fast. It's going to be a big week. You'll definitely want to stay tuned to Sit and Spin Radio. We'll have all the latest. And we've been saying amnesty's coming, and that everything's being set up to destroy the American way of life, and you flood this American market with 40 million illegal immigrants, you're going to destroy the American way of life. It's very sad. It's very scary. And again, why are the vets not being taken care of? Why are the illegals getting better medical care than our veterans, than our people that fought and died for this country? The people we've promised to take care of that we're not taking care of now. Why is that the case? Why are restaurants bowing to illegals? Why are restaurants bowing to Muslims? Why are restaurants changing their signs. I see another article coming out of Breitbart. Vermont restaurant removes bacon sign due to Muslim opposition and safety concerns. Again, it always comes down to safety. Well, why don't we stop being afraid of Muslims and we say, hey, get over it? Society has no problem telling Christians to suck it up and get over it. Why are we bowing down to every Muslim? Local Winooski, Vermont restaurant Sneakers Bistro has removed a sign that said "Yield Sneakers Bacon," citing opposition from a Muslim community leader and safety concerns. The sign was put up as part of a city's program that allows businesses to post advertisements in the area where they have helped maintain city's flower beds. The sign that read "Yield Sneakers Bacon" was removed after a woman identifying herself as a Muslim posted an online community forum stating that she was personally offended by the sign. According to local station WPTZ, WPTZ wrote that the woman who complained online called the sign insensitive to those who do not consume pork. Okay, so don't eat pork. What's it matter if there's a sign promoting pork? Get over it. This is like Subway in Europe bowing to Sharia law and taking their bacon and ham off the menu. Saturday morning, the restaurant posted to Facebook, "We are here to serve people breakfast, not politics. We removed the sign that was located on public property as a gesture of respect for our diverse community. There are also concerns raised about safety. Removing it was not a difficult decision. We still love bacon. We still love eggs. We have the political conversation elsewhere." Restaurant owners told WPTZ they attempted to contact the woman who posted the comment and proactively took the sign down. A restaurant representative was not available for immediate contact. This makes me sick. This makes me sick because we're told, oh, if you don't like something, just turn the other cheek. Just look away from it. It's not worth getting upset about. But yet here we get restaurants that bow down because the lady's like, well, it's insensitive if you don't eat pork. It's insensitive if you don't eat pork to have a sign that promotes bacon. It's disgusting and sick that you would give up your freedom of expression just to kowtow to somebody else. Don't you understand that when you give up these freedoms, when you bow down, they're going to take more and more and more. And this is how we get ISIS on our border. This is how you set the country on fire like the UK is right now, dealing with radical Islam. Oh, but we got to be scared. They might do something. ISIS might chop my head off because we have a sign that promotes bacon. Bring it, ISIS. Bring it. You're killing Christians. You're killing Muslims. You're killing Jews. You deserve to die. And if you want to come over here, if you want to mess with Americans, we will show you exactly what will happen. You won't like it. They're already selling bullets with pork in it, which I disagree with using. I think we should respect everybody's right. But the fact is they're not respecting our rights. It's a do as I say, not as I do mentality that comes out of the Muslim community. And because of that, what you get is nobody being willing to accept any differences. Anti-Israel protesters invoke Adolf Hitler. We've seen rise of anti-Semitic Nazi comments in light of all of the anti-Israel protests going on and solidarity with Hamas on the Gaza Strip. The world's upside down. The world is upside down when we're celebrating terrorist organizations like Hamas, when we're bowing down to Muslims and taking down signs about bacon in America. This country was built on bacon. Our founders ate pork belly at every meal. They loved bacon. They loved pork products. Barbecue is a completely American creation, a pork barbecue. I know around the country there are beef barbecues, things like that too that are popular. But we're in the Southeast here. Pork barbecue reigns supreme. And if you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. That's fine. It's more for the rest of us. But don't sit here and say, we're going to take down a sign or else we're going to chop your head off. Because then you're just being threatening terrorists. Abusive, threatening terrorists that have no respect for the rest of humanity. And it's showing. It makes me sick that restaurants would drop to this. But there's no homeland security without border security. Perry saying that Border Patrol erects more rescue beacons for illegals in distress. Yeah, let's put out beacons out there so if they come across the country illegally, come across the border into the country illegally, and they get in trouble, let's give them beacons so they can call and we'll come save them. Here's an interesting group identifies towns associated with the release of immigrants convicted of homicide. Centers for Immigration Studies has tracked down the names of the cities and towns associated with the 169 criminal immigrants the Obama administration released last year. In an analysis of data by CIS Director of Policy Studies Jessica Vaughn, obtained in advance of its publication by Breitbart News, Vaughn broke down the cities and states which zip codes land. Thursday, Iowa Republican Chuck Grassley released a recent letter from Immigration and Customs Enforcement revealing the zip codes of most of the 169 immigrants convicted of homicide-related crimes who were awaiting deportation proceedings but released last year. ICE provided the information after Grassley called the Department of Homeland Security for answers earlier this summer following confirmed reports that ICE released 36,007 immigrants convicted of nearly 88,000 crimes last year. So that's these people are convicted of more than 2 crimes apiece. The cities and towns via the CIS are Alaska received 2. They were both in Anchorage. Arizona had 3, 1 in Phoenix, 1 in Buckeye, 1 in Tucson. California got 48. With 6 going to Los Angeles, 3 to Pomona, 3 to San Jose, 2 to Glendale, 2 to Sacramento, 1 to Beverly Hills, 1 to Huntington Park, 1 to San Pedro, 1 to Montrose, 1 to Pasoma, 1 to Reseda, 1 to Burbank, 1 to North Hollywood, 1 to Chino Hills, and the list keeps going down through a bunch of cities. I'm not going to read through them all. Florida got 23. That looks like the second big winner. Here, Florida got 23 with 7 of them going to Miami. That's the big winner. Georgia got 7 with 3 in Atlanta. Illinois got 2. Iowa got 2. Kentucky got 1. Louisiana got 2. Maryland got 1. Pontiac, Michigan, you have an illegal convicted of murder. Minneapolis, you got 2. St. Paul got 1. Nevada, 2 went to Reno. 15 in New York with 5 going to the Bronx, 3 to Brooklyn Island, 2 to Manhattan, 1 to Staten Island. So we got 11 going to the New York City area. We've got 4 in North Carolina with 2 going to Charlotte, 1 to Durham, and 1 to Wingate. So that's always comforting. 2 in Alexandria, Virginia, 1 in Seattle, Washington, 1 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You want the full list, it's available on Breitbart.com. But it's sickening that these are proven murderers released into our country, into our society, into our cities. These are proven murderers walking amongst your kids. And that doesn't get into the pedophile ones. That doesn't get into the other criminals that are coming here. But they're such good people. They're innocent. They're gentle giants that never hurt anybody. They're too passive to play football. Isn't that what we're hearing out of? Isn't that what we're hearing out of Ferguson right now? He was too passive to even play football. Just because he's pushing around a store clerk doesn't mean anything. He was a good boy. The police shouldn't have shot him. Big protest yesterday, actually, in support of Officer Darren Wilson, too. I wanted to get into that. And also the money being raised. A lot more money has been given to support Darren Wilson than has went to the Mike Brown Foundation. And again, it goes to common sense. It goes to the stepping up and admitting what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. We've got a 23-year-old British former rapper has been identified by British security officials as the man suspected of beheading American journalist James Foley, according to news reports. That's a very interesting video, that Foley one. A lot of questions raised about the authenticity of it, about whether it was truly a video or whether it was a fake movie production type deal. There's a lot of questions being raised here, but they're saying that the person in the video who beheaded James Foley is the son of Egyptian militant who the U.S. authorities say masterminded the 1998 bombings of the U.S. embassies in East Africa. Let's pull up the full story here. I thought it was the Beetle terrorist guy, whatever, but apparently not. 23-year-old British former rapper identified on Saturday by British security officials as the man beheading American journalist James Foley, according to news reports. Abid Majid Abal-Bari is said to be known by his Islamic State members as Jihad John because of his British accent, was identified by unnamed British intelligence sources as the mass terrorist standing by Foley in a video ISIS posted on the internet of the execution, Sunday Times of London reports. And remember, the UK saying if you watch this video, it's committing a terrorist act. Prior to the release of the Foley death video, Bari had posted a photo of himself on Twitter holding a severed head. He was identified by British Security Service and Secret Intelligence Service, the Times report, citing sources it did not identify. Barry, whose music has been played on BBC Radio, left his home in West London last year to go to Syria, Telegraph reports. He had a similar build and skin tones to jihadists in the video, they went on to say. For ISIS, Bari is fighting under the name Abu Kalishnikov. Take it he loves the AK-47 there. The London Evening Standard reports. The sources provided no further information to the news organizations. According to the Evening Standard, Barry is the son of high-profile Al-Qaeda terror suspect Adel Abul-Bari, the Egyptian militant who was extradited to the United States in 2012 over allegations he masterminded the 1998 bombings of U.S. embassies in East Africa. Foley, 40, of Rochester, New Hampshire, was kidnapped on November 22, 2012 in northern Syria. He had earlier been kidnapped and released in Liberia. So definitely interesting stuff coming out here. And the jihadis are coming. ISIS plans to blow up a major U.S. city. We're seeing that. Jim Ivanhoe says ISIS developing a bomb to blow up U.S. city. We see reports saying they want to take out Chicago. We see notes being tweeted and Instagrammed and things like that. And we know the State Department was using Twitter to get all of their sorts of information for the MH17 plane disaster out of the Ukraine. Well, we know the Russians blew it up. We saw it on Wikipedia. I got another video here of Senator Ivanhoe talking about a terrorist attack. And again, our government runs Al-Qaeda. Our government runs ISIS. Our government runs these terrorist groups. So if you hear them saying that there's going to be a terrorist attack, you always have to plan that it's probably going to be a inside job. Let's see if we can get this video playing. There we go.
Oklahoma's senator says the rise of ISIS and other violent terrorist groups is putting our country in a dangerous position. Fox 25's Phil Cross sat down with Senator Jim Inhofe, who says the public needs to know how real the threat is for a new attack on American soil.
We're in the most dangerous position we've ever been in as a nation.
Senator Jim Inhofe serves as the ranking Republican on the Senate Armed Services Committee and says our country has never been in such a risky position, especially from new terror groups like ISIS.
They're crazy out there, and they are rapidly developing a method of blowing up a major U.S. city, and people just can't believe that's happening. But yes, it's really significant what's happening.
Senator Inhofe says cuts to defense spending have made our superpower status fall into question, and he blames the commander-in-chief, President Obama, who on Wednesday came out with a strong statement against the terrorist who beheaded an American journalist in Iraq.
People like this ultimately fail. They fail because the future is won by those who build and not destroy, and the world is shaped by people like Jim Foley and the overwhelming majority of humanity who are appalled by those who killed him.
He's going to have to come up with something that we're going to do because they're holding another hostage in place. And the problem is the president, quite frankly, he says all these things and he never does them.
Inhofe says current intelligence efforts have helped save countless lives by preventing attacks. He supports even the controversial data collections by the National Security Agency.
You have to have an intelligence process going on to stop attacks on America.
And while he believes groups like ISIS do pose a threat to world security,
with ISIS, they are really bad terrorists. They're so bad that Al-Qaeda is afraid of them.
He does not believe they have infiltrated the U.S. to the levels the terrorists would like you to believe. At least, not yet.
This idea that they're coming in, infiltrating the United States, sure, some are coming in who have had an association with ISIS, but majority of them are still over there, and they are, they're undoing a lot of the good that has been done.
Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
And you heard it there, Obama saying, well, the future is built by people who are against this. The future is built by people who are appalled. But I thought nobody built anything. You're confusing me.
You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there. If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, that you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. The internet didn't get invented on its own.
Yeah, you didn't build that. Future's built by people who stand up to terrorists. But you didn't build that. And in case Obama's not doing enough by playing golf in the face of an ISIS attack, you know, he's came out and made some comments again, just like with little Trayvon Martin, that he shouldn't have made about the Mike Brown situation. But now he's sending 3 White House aides to Mike Brown's funeral, which will be held Monday, I believe. Yes, Monday is chairman of My Brother's Keepers Task Force, Broderick Johnson. My Brother's Keeper is an Obama initiative that aims to empower young minorities. Also attending will be the Deputy Director of White House Public Engagement, Marlon Marshall, and an advisor for the office, Heather Foster. So Obama's sending his staff to go to the funeral. So, again, with Eric Holder there saying that change is coming and they're going to make an example of it. Hey there. Cat is walking across the desk now, kind of changing things here. Hopefully it won't step on anything important. Hey there, go on. Definitely interesting having a studio kitty in here. Definitely interesting. And you know what? We're going to use this now as a chance to get to another break. Right here, you're listening to Sit and Spin Radio. This is the Drew Howard Show, part of the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin. Every Sunday, Kinetic Hi-Fi gets taken over by Sit and Spin Radio. You have the Drew Howard Show from 9 till 11, then followed by the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly from 11 to 1. So be sure to stick around for that. He's coming up right after I finish here. But we're going to go ahead. We'll get to another break, and we'll come back in a few moments. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin.
12 o'clock and it's a wonderful day. I know you hate me, but I'll ask anyway. Won't you come with me to a place in a little town? The only way to get there's to go straight down. There's no bathroom and there is no sink. The water out of the tap is very hard to drink. Very hard to drink.
Yo, this is Junior Reed, and when I'm in South Carolina, I stay tuned to Kinetic Hi-Fi for the best in music, see? So hear this. Gunshot of fire, bodies on the floor, cops on the block, kicking down the door, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. Hey, stand your horn, being in the streets, it's all without a job. That's why no youths are out there and a rob, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. And don't forget, it's Kinetic Hi-Fi, man, see?
Hi, this is Bob Charles, the host of the Bob Charles Show. I very rarely endorse anything, but this service deserves my attention. Atlantic Repair LLC is the only credit restoration company that is actually headquartered here in Charleston, South Carolina. Unlike other companies that overcharge you because a middleman gets paid and then your credit report goes to Poland packed in sauerkraut. This company is here to help all of us and our credit problems like low scores, collections, judgments, inquiries, and a bunch of more bad stuff. Call Atlantic Repair LLC at 888-957-1118. They are the one company in South Carolina that charges 50% less than any other service on the planet, and no monthly fees either. They work till they are done. They get my vote. Now it's your turn. Call 888-957-1118 or go to www.atlanticrepairllc.com and follow the directions on page 1. They care for you.
Do you sometimes think life was just better when I was young? Maybe you're right. You know, there has been a marked decline in girls ages 8 to 14 that participate in Girl Scouting. And today we're looking for girls who are ready to be the leaders of tomorrow. Girls in this age group are vital to Scouting. They serve as role models for younger girls and uplift the community. And ladies, we need you to be that example too. Become a volunteer, a troop leader, or just enroll your daughter in Girl Scouts today. Call 843-552-9910 to learn more.
Thank you for listening to KineticHiFi.com Community Radio.
Will pay. All the stones that are thrown are building up a wall. I have become conqueror to this world.
And welcome back. Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, Part 1, The Drew Howard Show. Stick around after 11 o'clock for Nick O'Kelly. He'll be coming up with the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. A big show for you. Looks really exciting, so you definitely don't want to miss that. And, this is funny. The Washington Redskins, the Washington Post, isn't going to call them the Redskins anymore. They're going to leave the name out. So it's funny there. It's going to be hard to identify them. Nearly 4 in 5 Americans don't think the Redskins should change their name. Support upon the Washington Post editorial board members for ditching the Redskins remains significantly higher. The Redskins' hometown paper has long called on the team to come up with a new nickname for its editorial page perch, but the newspaper that brought down Richard Nixon hasn't been effective in bringing down Redskins. Impotent to get ownership to change the name, the editorial page has decided to stop using the word they have long called the team on to stop using, and in true grandstander fashion, the Post uses the forbidden word to headline their editorial boastings that they refuse to use the forbidden word any longer. It's not a promising start to the Washington Redskins becoming the Washington Redacted. The Post announced that the matter seems clearer to us now than ever, and while we wait for the National Football League to catch up with the thoughtful opinion and common decency, we have decided that except for its essential clarity or for effect, we will no longer use the slur ourselves. Presumably, the 79% of Americans who disagree with the Post don't represent thoughtful opinion and say nothing of common decency. Yeah, so we're enlightened. We're Beltway liberals. We live in the Washington District of Criminals. We're enlightened. We're better than you. Ha, ha, ha. We know better than regular America, blue-collar, red state, blue state America. We know better than that because we're such elitist. It reminds me of the South Park when Kyle's parents moved to San Francisco and everybody's sitting there sniffing their own farts because they're so conceited. That's the way that these Beltist Washingtonians remind me of. And, you know, I dealt with a lot of them. At a previous job I had, I worked with a lot of businesses in the Washington, D.C. area, and I would deal with these idiots, these brain-dead, moronic morons calling us up and trying to go about what services I was using. And they had no integrity. They had no intelligence. They were vapid, soulless, unhappy automatons, and that's what they want humanity to be. This is really leading the way to the technocratic takeover in 2025 that they talk about. The Post fingers former NFL referee Mike Carey, who earlier this week admitted to asking out of officiating Redskins game because of the objection to the name. As one figure representing such attributes, the editorial praised his quiet integrity. The Post points out he never made any announcement about it. The Post could have intimidated Kerry's quiet integrity and permitted self-censorship for writers objecting to the word without fanfare. Instead, they did the opposite. They made a large announcement, so they object the term so that anybody writing in the name of the editorial page no longer would be permitted to say Redskins. At the same time, they say this, they do the opposite by using the term. It's hypocrites, but that's typical out of the liberal elite. They're always hypocrites. The leftists are extremely racist, yet they decry racism. We're not racist. We just want to keep the blacks on a plantation system. We want to keep minorities down. We want to keep them on welfare. That's not racist. It's not racist to want to kill 52% of black babies in the womb through abortion. That's not racist, even though Margaret Sanger wrote letters to Hitler talking about how we needed abortion to kill black babies because nobody wanted them. But that's not racist. It's racist if you want small business ownership. It's racist if you want to see people succeed regardless of their character. It's racist if you judge people based on the content of their character. Oh, you like to push around store clerks and steal cigars? That's okay. You're a good boy. It's the police's fault for cracking down on your community. This is a joke. And then what do we see out of the NFL? It's all indoctrination. It's all putting you to sleep. Yay, sports team. Go sports team. That's all it is. And, I've said time and time again as we get into the football season, this is really when the New World Order ramps up their activity because most of the lamestream Americans out there are brainwashed by their lower G god that is football. Wake up. Turn off the games. Get away from it. It's a child's game that grown men are paid exorbitant amounts of money to play. Get away from it. It's time to move on. There are real things out there that need to be dealt with, like the New World Order. You're not supposed to learn about football stats. You're supposed to learn how to grow crops. You're supposed to learn how to survive. The average American can sit here and tell you football stats all day long, but they can't grow a plant. They think plants need Brondo. It's got what plants want. It's got electrolytes. So the Washington Post refuses to use the term Redskins because it's racist. 4 out of 5 Americans don't think it's racist, but it's racist. We know it's racist, and we're better than you, so we're not going to use it. Law professor here saying illegal immigrants are more aware than feds of weak enforcement under Obama. Of course they're aware. They were told to come here. It was put out. You come here, you make it, you're home free. We're playing a big game of capture the flag, and you get to the base, you're safe. Temple law professor Jan Ting, one of the country's most prominent immigration law experts, said that illegal immigrants understand better what's going on with the issue than federal officers who are charged with enforcing immigration laws. Appearing on the Heritage Foundation panel on immigration, Ting laughed off the Obama administration's spin that illegal immigrant juveniles know all the technicalities of the country's immigration laws. The people on the ground coming across the border know better about what's happening at our borders than the bureaucrats sitting here in Washington, D.C., and they know they're getting through. They're getting benefits. The kids are enrolled in schools. They're being transported at taxpayer expense to their parents or relatives who are already in the country illegally. Ting said that illegal immigrant juveniles know the reality is they're here to stay. They're never going home so long as this administration's policies remain in place. He said that once they are settled in the United States, illegal immigrant juveniles are calling home and telling friends and relatives, hey, this works. This absolutely works. Ting said they encourage others to do the same. Find a reliable smuggler and get yourself into the United States and take your best shot, they say. The Temple law professor also expressed disbelief on Tuesday that more than 550,000 illegal immigrant aliens have received deferred action because of President Obama. Barack Obama believes they are brought into this country through no fault of their own. Obama is considering expanding the program. This expansion would give temporary amnesty to all the parents who are responsible for deliberately bringing them to the United States illegally. Is it any wonder that the U.S. is experiencing this flood of illegal immigrants? Ting asked. Speaking of Obama's imperial presidency, Ting wondered if it would not be acceptable for future presidents who want a 10% income tax but cannot convince Congress to enact it to use prosecutorial direction and not penalize Americans for tax violations so long as they pay 10% of their income. He asserted that this is where the country is headed if Obama continues to enact executive amnesty and not enforce the country's immigration laws. And as we heard in the first video, this is the Democrats' plan to win 2016. We give amnesty, and then it doesn't matter how angry the red state voters are. It doesn't matter how angry Americans are. It doesn't matter if moderate Democrats turn their back on us. That's not going to matter because we'll have more than enough illegals to vote who we've suddenly made legal. Hey, and children who cross illegally are going to overload South Texas schools. Director of Intake and Attendance drowning in documents and deadlines. This is out of KRGV by way of InfoWars. The crisis on the border is now making its way into the Rio Grande Valley classrooms. Children who cross the border illegally are enrolling in Donna schools. The school district is racing to make changes. Classes start on Monday. Donna ISD is expecting a wave of last-minute enrollments Monday, and the group of procrastinators could very well be children who crossed illegally. So there it is. Schools are going to be overwhelmed. Our hospitals are overwhelmed. Our borders are overwhelmed. We're dying. We are dying as a country thanks to the inept policies of our duffer-in-chief, Barack Obama. That's what we got to call him now. He is the duffer-in-chief because all he does is play golf. In fact, we got a lot more stories about Barack Obama's golf game coming out this week. This is out of the New York Times. The Golf Address. It's written by Maureen Dowd, who, she's been getting a lot of shots taken over her coming out against Obama recently. But The Golf Address by Maureen Dowd. 4.7 trillion rounds ago, our four caddies brought forth on this continent a new playground conceived by Robert Trent Jones and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal when it comes to spending as much time on the links as possible, even when it seems totally inappropriate, like moments after making a solemn statement condemning the grisly murder of a 40-year-old American journalist beheaded by ISIL. Too many names for it, and that's what they do, is they change up the name every so often, so that way you think, oh, it's a new group. It's not Al-Qaeda. It's not ran by the CIA. Yeah, it's the exact same. It's the same flags. Remember last year when we talked about John McCain going and having Memorial Day barbecue with the terrorists over in Syria? These were the terrorists that he was eating barbecue with. I know reporters didn't get a chance to ask questions, but I had to bounce. I had a 1 p.m. tea time at Vineyard Golf Club with Alonzo Mourning and part owner of the Boston Celtics. Hillary and I agree that when we partied with Vernon Jordan up here, hanging out with celebrities and rich folks is fun. Now we are engaged in a great civil divide in Ferguson, which does not even have a golf course, and that's why I had a logistical issue with going there. We are testing whether that community or any community so conceived and so dedicated can long endure when this nation's leader wants nothing more than to sink a birdie putt. We are met on a great field of that battle, not Augusta, not Pebble Beach, not Bethpage Black, not Burning Tree, but Farm Neck Golf Club in Martha's Vineyard, which we can't get enough of. Me, Alonzo, Ray Allen, Marvin Nicholson, my trip director and favorite golfing partner, has played 134 rounds and counting with me. We've dedicated a portion of that field as a final resting place for my presidency if I keep swinging from behind. It is altogether fitting and proper that I should get to play as much golf as I want, despite all the lame jokes about how golf is turning into a real handicap for my presidency, and now I have to stay the course with ISIL. I've been hearing all the carping that I should be in the Situation Room, droning and plinking the bad folks. I know some people think I should go to Ferguson. Don't they understand that I've delegated Martin Luther King Jr. thing to Eric Holder? Plus Valerie Jarrett and Al Sharpton have it under control. I know it doesn't look good to have any pictures of me grinning in a golf cart juxtaposed with the ones of James Foley's parents crying, a distraught David Cameron rushing back from his vacation after only one day, and the Pentagon news conference with Chuck Hagel and General Dempsey on the failed mission to rescue the hostages in Syria. We're stuck in the rough, going to war all over again in Iraq and maybe striking Syria too. Every time Chuck Hagel says ISIL is beyond anything we've ever seen, I sprout 7 more gray hairs, but my cool golf cap covers them. If I could only just play through the rest of my presidency. ISIL is brutally killing hostages because we won't pay ransoms, rumbles of coups with our puppets in Iraq and Afghanistan, racial cauldron in Ferguson, the Ebola outbreak, the Putin freakout. There's enough awful stuff going on to give anyone the yips. So how can you blame me for wanting to unwind on the course for 4 or 5 hours at dinner with my former assistant chef? He's a great organic cook and he's got a gluten-free backyard putting green. But in the larger sense, we can dictate, we can dedicate, we can consecrate, we can hallow this ground where I can get away from my wife, my mother-in-law, Uncle Joe, Congress, and all the hazards of my life. The brave foursomes, living and dead, who have struggled here in the sand, in the trees, and the water, I have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or subtract a few strokes to improve our score. Bill Clinton was Mr. Mulligan, and he is twice as popular as I am. The world will little note nor long remember what we shot here or why I haven't invited a bunch of tiresome congressmen to tee it up. I'm trying to relax, guys. I'd much rather stay in the bunker with my usual bros. Why don't you play 18 with Mitch McConnell? And John Boehner is a lot better than me, so I don't want to play with him. It is for us, the Duffers, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work for which they have played here and thus far nobly advanced the young folks to stop spurning a game they find slow and boring. It is rather for us to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us to get rid of our slice on the public dime. From that honored green, we take increased devotion to the cause for which Bobby Jones, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Rory McIlroy gave their last full measure of devotion and divots. We are highly resolved that these golfing greats shall not have competed in vain, especially poor Tiger, and that this nation, under par, shall have a new birth of freedom to play a game that I have become unnaturally obsessed with, and that the golf of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth, so help me golf. So a great bit of satire there from Maureen Dowd, the golf address, taking off of the Gettysburg Address, and really pointing out the weak spots in Obama's presidential game. Maybe he's getting his handicap down, but it's really handicapping this country at the same time. Paper saying U.S. will launch airstrikes on Syria. Hey, we were saying last year we should go in and help Syria. We should help Assad defeat ISIS. It's going to be a bigger issue for us if we don't. But no, Assad was evil. He was using chemical weapons that he never used that were being used by ISIS, but he's evil. We can't go in and support him. Putin wanted to support him. We can't be on the same page as Putin. Didn't you watch Rocky IV? He's Russian. We have to hate Russians. Russia bad. Look, it's not that I'm thinking that Russia's all that great, but at this time, you have to look at what they're doing. They're promoting family values. They're promoting liberty. They're promoting a free-thinking society where you can build. Yes, there's still a lot of corruption in Russia, but they're setting up systems for their people to succeed. We are destroying any system we've got to call success in America. Las Vegas has come out and said that they believe they're a major target for ISIL. That Al-Qaeda leaders are targeting the lone jihadists to target Las Vegas for terror attacks. That's coming out of local there in Vegas. Local Fox in Vegas. So you can check that out. But Obama's playing golf, so what's it really matter? And the media is baffled. There's a Kurtz article out of Fox News, a Howard Kurtz article, that says the media is baffled by his deepening isolation. President Obama has few remaining friends either in his party or in his own party or the media. There's a video here. Let's go ahead and play it before we get to the top of the hour break. Actually, you know what? We'll play this when we come back from the top of the hour break. We'll go ahead and we'll get out to break here, and then we'll play this clip of them talking, Howard Kurtz talking about the deepening isolation. So we'll go ahead. We'll get to our top of the hour break. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, part of the Sit and Spin Radio Network. You're listening to the Drew Howard Show. Got me till 11, so another hour. And then Nick O'Kelly will be coming up at 11 o'clock with the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. Don't want to miss that. Definitely want to stick around. We'll be back.
Long to be swear by his resolve.
We got talk shows, we got sunglasses, we got music, we got fake Rolexes. KineticHiFi.com. Keep it locked in, honey butter.
Do you sometimes think life was just better when I was young? Maybe you're right. You know, there has been a marked decline in girls ages 8 to 14 that participate in Girl Scouting. And today we're looking for girls who are ready to be the leaders of tomorrow. Girls in this age group are vital to Scouting. They serve as role models for younger girls and uplift the community. And ladies, we need you to be that example too. Become a volunteer, a troop leader, or just enroll your daughter in Girl Scouts today. Call 843-552-9910 to learn more.
Hi, this is Bob Charles, the host of The Bob Charles Show. I very rarely endorse anything, but this service deserves my attention. Atlantic Repair LLC is the only credit restoration company that is actually headquartered here in Charleston, South Carolina. Unlike other companies that overcharge you because a middleman gets paid and then your credit report goes to Poland packed in sauerkraut. This company is here to help all of us and our credit problems like low scores, collections, judgments, inquiries, and a bunch of more bad stuff. Call Atlantic Repair LLC at 888-957-1118. They are the one company in South Carolina that charges 50% less than any other service on the planet, and no monthly fees either. They work till they are done. They get my vote. Now it's your turn. Call 888-957-1118 or go to www.atlanticrepairllc.com and follow the directions on page 1. They care for you.
Hey, there's no shortage of folks out there who claim to be website designers, graphic artists. It seems like every day you hear about a new social media firm promising to optimize your website and social media visibility. What you may not know is that very few of these folks have the experience and talent necessary to fulfill their lofty promises. As a small business owner, you know every dollar spent needs to have an impact, and there's simply no better way to set your business up for success than to trust your online needs to Charleston's premier full production service, Advent Designs. Advent Designs has a history of success and customer satisfaction which is unmatched, and you can rest assured that your investment will see outstanding returns. Whether you need an intuitive new website, an eye-catching logo, a powerful new banner, or comprehensive social media campaign, Advent Designs is ready to help. Call Advent Designs today at 843-298-1619. That's 843-298-1619. Or visit the website at advent-designs.com. Advent Designs, the power of perfection. Thank you for listening to KineticHiFi.com Community Radio.
Welcome back. This is the Drew Howard Show, part of the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, right here on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. Do stick around. We got one more hour left, and then Nick O'Kelly will be coming up at 11 o'clock for the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. Don't want to miss that. And I got a video here we're going to play. Obama stands alone even as the media are baffled by his deepening isolation. This is a Howard Kurtz article on Fox News and also a video.
President Obama playing golf. Now, I've been in the camp that presidents are entitled to relaxation and vacation, and it's often a cheap shot to complain about that. But this week, I'm with the critics. For the President of the United States to deliver that very emotional statement after the awful execution of journalist James Foley and then go off to the links almost seemed tone deaf, and so I understand why there's all that criticism. But here's the thing. The criticism of Barack Obama for playing golf or being at Martha's Vineyard is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's really a kind of code. What critics are really saying